This is the Dr. Berg Show. Live from the nation's capital, it's time to get healthy, lose weight, and feel great. Call now to speak with Dr. Berg at 866-561-4292. And now, Dr. Eric Berg.
Hey guys, I'm back. It's Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. Probably for you it might be 3 o'clock in the afternoon, depending where you are in the world. We have a lot of callers today. I wanted to try a different time zone to see if that works, but I'm here for your questions. If you want to call in, the number is 866, let's see, it's 561-4292. It should be actually below on YouTube or Facebook. All right, great. So we're going to take the first caller. Vanessa, you're on the air. You're from California. Go ahead.
Good evening, Dr. Berg. Thank you for taking my call. I have two types of questions. One is a thyroid that was has been removed about 10 years ago, and the lady is about her early 30s right now, and she was diagnosed with Hodgkin disease back in about 20 years ago. So basically, she's already went through the readmission, and then her thyroid was removed 10 years after that. And the last few years, she's actually gained weight, about 10 pounds. And I think she's a thyroid type of person and adrenal. Please give advice on that, the do's and don'ts, and also the testicular cancer post-surgery, which is about 2 months ago, a male, kind of a slim body type, early 30 as well. Please advise on the do and don'ts of these two individuals.
Sure, Vanessa, let me just give you some tips because it's a lot of questions. But here's the thing. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, it's on the rise. It's spiking up. It's actually quite high. And there's been some links to some interesting things in the environment, specifically glyphosate. Yeah, that's in the GMO. So it's kind of a date coincidence with the spike. And if you search some of the class action suits, you'll get a lot of data on this, and they did all the research, they compiled it. So if that's the case, then what you'd want to do is make sure these people, if they got cancer, because the immune system is now weak, they need to go completely 100% organic to make sure there's no more GMOs in the food. They need to make sure that they do a lot of cruciferous vegetables because the liver needs to detoxify. Cruciferous stimulates enzymes in the liver. It gives the liver enzymes and it stimulates the liver to make enzymes in the process of converting these poisons to harmless particles. It's called phase 1, phase 2 detoxification. So it allows the whole process to convert a fat-soluble poison to a harmless particle that's water-soluble. So that's why you want to, every day I would consume some type of cruciferous, whether it's a kale shake, Brussels sprouts, radishes, really important. And that's what I would do. As far as the thyroid, if you have it removed, what happens now is that you're going to have to be on medication, thyroid hormones. The thing that I would look at is make sure the gallbladder is working good, because if there's a gallbladder problem or you have the gallbladder removed, you might have a hard time converting T4 to T3, in which case you need to take some bile salts to allow that thyroid to work better. So that's pretty much the answer I would give you, Vanessa. Thanks for your question. Hey, George, you're from Toronto. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Good evening, Dr. Berg. Thank you for taking my call, and I just wanted to say thank you for everything you do in your videos. Much appreciated. I lost 40 pounds. I'm 5 months on keto, keto adapted, kale shake every day, intermittent fasting, your supplements as well. My question is, hair and nails doesn't want to improve so much and so fast. Is there something I can do to speed up this process?
Out of curiosity, are you taking the hair formula?
I just ordered it.
Okay.
Other than that, it's a lot of greens, not a lot of protein, no sugar, no alcohol, nothing else.
Okay, so let's talk about the hair. There's two, mainly in men, it's high levels of DHT, which is a powerful form of testosterone that burns that out. It's called an enzyme inhibitor that I'm not going to get into the technical name, but there's something that you can take to slow down the process of DHT building up in the body. It's called stinging nettle root. That is in the hair formula. In addition to a lot of other nutrients, we got the trace minerals, you have the B vitamins, biotin, we also have horsetail, which gives you silica, and also actual protein itself, a certain type of collagen that builds up the hair. I think to speed up the process, I would go out and get some stinging nettle root in higher dosages. That will help because in men, it'll actually kill two birds with one stone. It'll actually help the hair and also help the prostate. I would do that. Typically, if you're on the ketogenic diet and you lose your hair, or you start getting hair loss, all that means is you need to also include intermittent fasting with that, and that should clear it right up. In fact, the people that I know that are doing intermittent fasting with the ketosis, it really accelerates the hair growth because you're increasing growth hormones, which is building up more proteins, and you're not breaking them down. And so you're reducing insulin, which is an underlying inflammatory condition. So that's what I would try, George. But thanks for your call, and thanks for your lovely words. Majestic, you are from Virginia, right down the street.
Yes, I am. Can you hear me? Thank you so much for accepting my call.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
I decided to do intermittent fasting from watching some of your videos on YouTube, and I just have some quick yes and no's for foods. One is butter.
Okay. It's totally fine. Make sure it's grass-fed. Kerrygold might work for you, yeah.
Okay, maple syrup.
Maple syrup, that's a no, but if you go on my blog, I have a recipe for maple syrup that you can consume.
Cool. Pancakes.
I have a recipe for that too. Go on my blog and go under the video blog and then click under recipes, because I just looked at it today and I was like, I have a lot of recipes on there. Waffles, pancakes, everything.
Okay. What about Zevia? It's a drink that is sweetened with stevia.
Totally fine.
It's like a carbon.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Totally fine.
Okay. This is the biggie right here. What type of salad dressing? Because I can eat dressing all day long, but what type of salad dressing can I have?
The best thing to do is make your own. We have recipes for that too, but here's what I use. And I use, I go to the grocery store, and I did a video on this so you could find this as well. And I just basically looked at the label. 95% of them are made from soy or canola. If they're not organic, they are GMO, most definitely. So you're gonna have to find, there's gonna be like a small percentage of salad dressings that are made with sunflower oil or avocado oil or olive oil. Those are the ones that you buy. I don't have a specific brand because sometimes I'll see it and then it's gone because a lot of people are not buying it. But that is the problem. Just find one without the soy, corn, or canola. Okay.
What about the sugar content in them?
Yeah, you want to get one without sugar as well. That's a given. Yeah, absolutely. Just look at the actual sugar grams and make sure it's below like one or less.
Okay, one or less. Okay.
Yeah.
Now the vitamins, because you say get electrolytes, I have everything that you say get. Can I take those during the fasting period or during
totally
the
fine.
eating?
The only thing that could knock you out of ketosis a little bit is excessive amounts of bone broth, because it's a protein. Sometimes L-glutamine, which is an amino acid, sometimes branched amino acids will do it. So anything amino acid could bump you out. It's not a big problem because it's only temporary, it's just a small amount. But just so you know, if you're testing your urine and go, wow, now I'm out of ketosis, don't freak out. It's probably just something like that.
Okay, what about dairy, cheese and dairy?
Now, the thing about dairy is that I'm going to do a complete video on that. You have certain cheese that has a lot of lactose in it. And so you just have to get more hard cheeses, definitely grass-fed cheeses. I like the fattier cheeses, the cream cheese, sour cream. I like also the brie cheeses. Those are higher in fat, lower in lactose. So if you get yogurt, for example, it's very high in lactose, and also even some of the kefirs are higher in sugar. So what I would do is I would stick with the hard cheeses or soft cheeses, but if you look at some of the traditional cheeses, if they show you the sugar content, that's probably the lactose that's pretty high. But typically, I wouldn't worry about it. Just some people can do a lot of cheese. Some people, it binds them up. It can knock them out of ketosis, possibly because they have an allergy to either lactose, which a lot of people have, or casein, which is the protein in milk. I'm from Wisconsin. I like cheese. I eat a lot of cheese. It doesn't seem to bother me at all. And it's a really good fattier protein to consume at the end of the meal. So it's kind of a wild variable when you get into cheeses, but I'm going to do a complete video on that.
Good. Okay, and I'll watch that. And lastly, I usually buy apple juice, not from concentrated, and it has only apples and ascorbic acid in it. Is that okay?
No, because that's pure sugar. That will totally block your ketosis completely. No juices,
Gotcha.
no fruit juices. But I think I know your last question, though.
No fruit?
No fruit. Zero.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay, good. I was trying to predict your last question, but I don't think I did. But okay, good. So Dave, you're on the air. You're from Austin, Texas.
Yeah. Hi. Thank you for taking the call, and I really enjoy your video show. An excellent teacher.
Oh, thanks.
You're welcome. You are very likable. Good job, doctor. I have a question about DHT. I read pro and con on olive oil and coconut oil, and I'd like to know your take on them.
In relationship to DHT?
Yeah.
Okay. I looked at that too, and honestly, there's some people that are against it that say that it will increase DHT. It's an arbitrary, it's someone's opinion. I've never found an actual study that they base that off of, or any type of physiology books that will state that. I think they're totally fine. I do not think they increase DHT at all. So I would not worry about it at all. But I think one of my favorite things, there's two things that will actually lower DHT in the body if you have too much of it. Well, there's a lot of them, but the one that's common is the stinging nettle root. But number two is mushrooms, button mushrooms. So that actually will convert, it'll actually improve. It lowers DHT and it frees up more free testosterone. So it just happens to be kind of something you can get anywhere.
Terrific. Okay, thanks very much.
Hey, thanks, Dave. Let's see, it's Arshana. You are from California. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hey, Dr. Berg, good evening.
Hi.
So actually I am 41 years and 112 pounds. I am adrenal type. And I started ketosis a year back and lost 22 pounds in 3 months. So, but the problem here is my total cholesterol is 394, which has gone up than a year before. And LDL is 340, HDL is 73, and triglyceride is 37, which have improved also. And I take all the vitamins D3, K2, wheatgrass, and fish oil and all. So my question is it normal to have that high cholesterol and LDL, as I have family history of heart attacks on my mom's side? Okay. Or should I change my diet or add something to lower my cholesterol? So doctors, they suspect it as familial hyperlipidemia. And my another question is, I have pain in my joint when I sit for very long. So how can I fix that one? I already take phospholiquid. So that was my question. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, phosphid liquid is a phosphorus that actually helps to free up calcium deposits. So I have a question for you. Are you doing intermittent fasting yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do.
So, so I think for inflammation, you could go get some stinging nettle root. That's a great anti-inflammatory. But here's the thing that I want to talk about. I created a video recently on LDL. What happens is that, first of all, when you burn fat cells, you can't get rid of fat cells. So you're just taking the triglycerides and some cholesterol in the fat cells, and you're using them up for energy. So the fat cells are shrinking, right? So as the triglycerides come out, you're burning those up as fuel. But the cholesterol that's coming out is not burned as fuel. So when you're in ketosis or intermittent fasting, all this cholesterol that's been stored in the fat cell, where's it going to go? It has to come out and it has to go through the circulation, it has to come to the liver, and it has to come out to the gallbladder. So you have to just make sure that you're keeping your vegetables very, very high. If your LDL, so-called bad cholesterol, is high, it might not be a problem. It's usually not a problem because there's two types. There's type A, which is the large, buoyant, fluffy type of cholesterol, which is not a problem. And there's type B, which is the dense, smaller type cholesterol, which is involved in more of the plaquing formation. And it's just kind of like it's a result of something. It's not the cause of it. It means that there's a problem. So if your LDL is high, how do you know which one it is? Because they don't tell you unless you do a more sophisticated test. What you do is you look at your triglycerides and your HDL. If your triglycerides or HDL are normal, or your triglycerides are lower, like normal or low, and your HDL, good cholesterol, is normal or high, then you don't have to worry about it because you have more type A LDL. And that means that all this cholesterol is just coming out through the body and coming out through the liver, and it's not being a problem at all, even if your cholesterol is high. Now, if you are really concerned, go get a genetic test to see if you have a genetic problem with cholesterol. If that's the case, then you're going to have to maybe take red yeast, or maybe not take extra cholesterol and really take more apple cider vinegar and more vegetables. But I bet you that's not the problem, because it's more rare to have a genetic problem with cholesterol. And this is the thing that people just need to know and understand. HDL is like, it's going to be high as you're burning fat and it's coming out through the body. And look at the other factors. Are you feeling better? Are you sleeping better? But that's what I would check. And if you really are concerned, then you just go get a test to check your A and B to really get the specific type of LDL that you're running into. But watch my video on that as well. All right, good question. Hey, Christine, you're from New York. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Am I on?
You're on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, hi.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I've been doing intermittent fasting keto for many years. I'm hypothyroid. I went from 30 something down to 10. I'm taking Armour thyroid, but now I heard that has weight in it or something. Maybe I shouldn't be taking that. But anyway, I'm losing weight. I've lost 30 pounds since January.
Wow.
Keto. But I know you say wow, but like I fast for 3 days. Like I eat 500 calories a day. Why am I not losing?
Oh, okay, I see. So you're since January, right?
I'm so tired. I cannot exercise. I push myself so hard.
Yeah. So I have some questions, Christine.
I'm taking Armour thyroid.
Yeah, you have a thyroid in conjunction with these other issues. Can you hear me? No. Okay, so you can't hear me, but I'm going to answer this question. You get once the thyroid is a problem, everything is really slow. Like the metabolism is going to be really slow. So I think what you're doing is more of a low-calorie diet, because 500 calories a day is not enough, and that is going to cause your metabolism to slow down even more. So the difference between ketogenic diet, intermittent fasting, and a starvation diet or a low-calorie diet is that when you're doing intermittent fasting, even though you're doing less meals, you're still having the quantity of calories to fulfill the nutrient amounts, and that's what you're missing. So you probably want to go to 1 meal a day, but make sure it's a big meal, not a 500-calorie small meal, or else you're going to be tired because your body just doesn't have the nutrients to survive. So the other thing that you may want to do is really beef up your B vitamins, because that usually is required when you go through ketosis. But I think you're tired because you're not having enough calories. But you need to make sure those are quality calories, okay? All right, hey, George, you're on the air. You're from Columbia, British Columbia.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having the show on a different day. It's good. I can't call in on Fridays. So what I want to know is, if you're drinking a lot of apple cider vinegar mixture with water, can you also take supplements with that at the same time? Like say, and do you have to take? That's sort of one question, and the other one, just supplements in general, like. But also, NAC. Do you take that with food or without? There seems to be some kind of like mixed information out there.
Yeah. NAC is really good to repair the liver after someone's taken steroids or damaged liver. That one, I like to take that one alone, but you can take it when you're fasting, and you can take it with other supplements, but I'm talking about like not with food. As far as apple cider vinegar, you can take that with all your supplements. It's not a problem at all. You can just combine it all and just get it over with. Are you from, what part of British Columbia are you from?
I'm calling from Kelowna.
Okay. Yeah, that's beautiful over there. I actually used to practice in Lynnwood, Washington. I would go up there, and it's just gorgeous up there. It rains a lot, but that's why it's so green.
Yeah. Well, it certainly rains a lot down near Vancouver and stuff. Not so much in Kelowna. But, you moved from Lynnwood. Oh, why'd you do that? Why'd you move?
Because I couldn't handle the rain. It rained almost every day, and I was like, you know what? I just can't take this. So then I moved to California and to dry out for a while. Then I eventually moved to San Diego.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
One more question about choline. Okay, so these are supplements for the liver, right? And so you got choline mixed with inositol.
Mm-hmm.
I have that supplement,
Mm-hmm.
and it says on there to not take it with in relation to other mineral supplements because there's a thing called phi something or other that interferes with mineral absorption or something like that. Have you heard of that?
Yeah, it's a very minor point. It's almost like insignificant. It's so minor. I would not worry about it. But inositol and choline are great for a fatty liver, and I wouldn't even worry about that. It's a very minor point.
So how long will it take for the NAC thing to work on the fatty liver?
It's very, very subtle. It's very slow and subtle. The one that's going to probably make the biggest difference, George, is the choline. Taking a good amount of choline over a period of time. And you have the liver, the fat can come off in maybe 3 or 4 months, depending on how much fat you have. I mean, if it's a lot, it could take a lot longer. But to repair all the other damage in the liver, it could take several years. It's a long-term project. Yeah.
And serapeptase, is that good for the fatty liver thing too?
Yeah.
How long
Well,
does that take?
no. That serapeptase is a very powerful enzyme that breaks down scar tissue, unwanted scar tissue, especially cirrhosis. That's what that's going to do. It's going to clean that up pretty nice. I like it. That's the one that you have to take on an empty stomach because it's a powerful protein enzyme. So if you take it with food, it'll just digest your protein.
Okay. But can you take, like serapeptase, can you take that long term? Because on some of the bottles, it'll say, don't take it for beyond 7 days without a doctor and all this.
No, it's just a disclaimer. You can take it long term. It cleans out a lot of scar tissue from the body, unwanted scar tissue, endometriosis, everything. Thanks, George.
Am I doing the right thing?
Yeah, you're doing the right
for
thing.
The fatty liver?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much.
Sure. Hey, Matthew, you're from Florida. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hey, yeah, I have about a couple, like 3 quick questions. 2 of them are really fast. Is it okay to eat spaghetti squash?
Totally. Totally. Spaghetti, all the squashes are really good. Yeah.
I think what was happening is when I first started your diet, first 5 or 6 months, I felt better, but I still felt kind of weird, and I was blaming it on the spaghetti squash. And then the new stevia that I was using, the number 1 ingredient is maltodextrin.
Wow.
And I think is that possible that was doing it?
Listen, maltodextrin has a glycemic index of 110. It is way higher. Table sugar is like, I think it's 64. So you got the highest glycemic index. You want to bump someone out of ketosis, take something with maltodextrin. That's why when I made my electrolyte formula, the manufacturing company wanted to put maltodextrin. I'm like, no. And I said, why do you want to put that in there? Well, we just do it for everyone. I'm like, no, you're not going to put it in mine. I'm not going to touch that stuff. It is like serious, like glycemic response. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I've stopped doing it, and for the past 2 months now since I've stopped, I've like quickly, and I feel much better, way more energy. So it's definitely messing me up. And it seems like all the sweeteners have it, even the ones that like stevia in the raw. You think it's going to be pure stevia? It's maltodextrin.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
Stevia.
They use it as a kind of an agent to, when they put it, anything like in a powder, they have to use it. But there's ones out there that don't have it. You're just going to have to search and find them. But I know what you mean. I hate them.
Yeah, I get it now. I think most people they're doing what you're telling them, but they don't realize that they're putting maltodextrin because everything is in it.
It's another video.
Is it okay to do any kind of weightlifting when you're trying to fix adrenal fatigue?
Well, the weightlifting is totally fine. The key if you have adrenal fatigue is you want to do small amounts of it and give your body a sense of rest, and then alternate days go for long walks. But you can do heavy weights with adrenal as long as you give your body, just do it short, like probably 15 minutes, and then you like do it every other day or every third day.
Okay. And then another quick question, and I don't know. This is before though. I haven't napped in a while, but usually whenever I wake up from my nap, I feel horrible. Like my whole body will feel hot, and I'll just feel like just gross. It'll take me a couple hours. I'll take a cold shower, and what can that be from? Is that just like a hypoglycemia thing, or?
That's more of a B.
And this is.
That's a B vitamin deficiency. I would start taking more nutritional yeast on that. That should clean out the pipes. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Matthew. Appreciate the questions.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Betty, you're from California. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi, Dr. Berg. I just love your channel. Thank you so much for taking my call. I just have a really quick question. There was a testimonial you did a while ago with he was from Poland. I think he was from Poland.
Yeah.
And he did weightlifting, and he managed to lose like 35 pounds over like 2.5, 3 years. And the drink, one of the things he said he was doing was he was drinking apple cider vinegar, lemon juice, stevia, and creatine. And my question is, what kind of creatine do you recommend? Because there's a lot out there, and some are apparently better than others.
You know, I don't want to spoil it, but I have a video that's going to be released, I think it could be next Wednesday or Thursday on creatine, that talks about the different kinds, but I don't have a brand name, but you're going to have to just find it. So why don't you stay tuned for that one? You just can, they're all very similar. They're not that different, but if you want a higher quality, I covered that in the video. So stay tuned for that specific video, because that's more of an involved question, because there's like 4 or 5 different kinds.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Good. Well, then I'll wait until next week.
Yeah. Great.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks, Betty.
Okay. Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, Christine, you're on the air. You're from Florida. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Berg. How are you?
Hi, good. Thanks.
I am calling in regard to my cholesterol. I have been doing keto for probably about 8 months, and since the beginning of this year, I've been doing intermittent fasting along with it. I am diabetic, and I get my labs done every 3 months. My total cholesterol in January, before I was doing the intermittent fasting and I wasn't that deep into the ketosis, but it was 150. In April, it jumped to 324.
Mm-hmm.
So I had a pretty significant jump. My LDL went from 76 in January to 240 in April.
Mm-hmm.
I've been told that it's likely that I have a genetic predisposition to high cholesterol. And I'm wondering, I know you touched on this to an earlier caller, if this could be related to just the cycle of the cholesterol until everything gets cleaned out, for lack of another word.
So how is your triglycerides, though?
Triglycerides went from 211 in January to 224 in April.
Okay. And what about your HDL?
I'm sorry?
Your HDL.
what was your question?
Okay, what about your HDL?
My HDL was.
Of course, it's breaking up now. I can't hear it. I wanted to know. Christine, I know you're breaking up, but can't hear you. But here's what I would like you to do, Christine. I want you to get a genetic test to see if that's it. Okay, if it's not genetic, then we know it's going to be good. But if your triglycerides are going a little higher, then that is a little problem. But let's go to a quick break, and I'll be right back.
Call the show now at 866-561-4292. The doctor returns in a moment. It's back to your calls and questions with Dr. Berg. Our lines are open now at 866-561-4292. And now, Dr. Berg.
Hey guys, I am back over here on the board. A little technical difficulties. We're going to handle that. We have fiber being put in here, so that'll completely, utterly solve it. We just had an internet disconnection. But while we're here, I want to talk about the last question that other person had about the LDL, okay? So very simply, you have the liver over here, and then you have the artery and all the cells over here. LDL is the cholesterol coming into the arteries, okay? And into the cells. So it delivers cholesterol into the cells. And the purpose of cholesterol is to act as a Band-Aid, to help heal, to provide for raw material for hormones, like steroid hormones, like your sex hormones, cortisol, so you can have more anti-inflammatory hormones, more stress-fighting hormones, all that. So, and that's why when you're under stress, this goes up, okay? So it goes in there. And it's going in there to try to patch up little holes in the arteries, which are already there as a result of either a low vitamin C deficiency or high insulin. So you can have low vitamin C that creates these lesions, which are like leaky little holes, and that can come from low vitamin C, junk foods. It can also come from high levels of insulin. Why? Because insulin, even like in a diabetic, it destroys the cells, it destroys the eyes, destroys the nervous system, destroys the part of the brain called the hippocampus, which then your ability to locate yourself in time and space is destroyed because you can't find, where did I park? That type of thing. So high levels of insulin or insulin resistance. So then the LDL comes in there as a byproduct or a secondary effect to try to help heal this thing. So then HDL is the cholesterol coming back to the liver to be recycled. You realize that your body recycles a lot of the cholesterol, so it needs the cholesterol. It considers it important. People are attacking the cholesterol as a problem. So here's the thing. When you actually start to increase your ketosis, you have the fat cells, which are composed of triglycerides and cholesterol. So you're going to basically burn up that triglyceride, but cholesterol is not burned. It's not used as fuel. So now, as your fat cells become smaller, where's all that cholesterol going to go? It has to come out through the body. And that's why when someone goes on a low carbohydrate diet, if you look under a book, it's called Guyton's Physiology, the textbook of how the body works. There's a chapter on insulin, and it talks about one of the side effects of a low carbohydrate diet is a fatty liver. Well, that's only because they're not consuming enough of the other, like the vegetable factors, to start cleaning all this cholesterol out. So anytime you're burning fat, think about this. Your gallbladder has to now handle and dismantle and get rid of the excess. So what you want to do is you want to consume a lot of vegetables. You can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You can actually flush out all the excess cholesterol that needs to be gotten rid of and the excess fat, and also keeps your gallbladder and liver clean. And it can increase the potassium reserve, because you need potassium to actually heal the cells, especially with the insulin dysfunction or insulin resistance. So potassium is essential. You get it from the vegetables. So the vegetable is really a vital piece. I do not recommend doing a ketogenic diet without vegetables, okay? So when you do high ketones, you're going to end up with a lot of fat coming out of the body. A lot of cholesterol might come up temporarily, and then because a lot of that is the LDL, that's going to go high. So like I was mentioning before, there's 2 types of LDL. There's pattern A and there's pattern B. A is the fluffy, buoyant, large particles. B is the small particles. And this is the stuff right here. B is the stuff that's involved in this reaction with the lining of the arteries. Okay, so if you have too much of B, then that tells me there's a problem. If you have A, then there's not a problem. The problem is when you measure your LDL, they don't differentiate, is it A or is it B? Okay? So how do you know? You have to look at the triglycerides. The triglycerides, if they're high, then that means chances are it's higher on the B. Okay? And if your HDL is low, then it's B. But if your triglycerides are lower and your HDL is higher, or these are normal, then it's an A and it's not a problem. So here you are, you have high LDL, but it's not a problem. It's actually your body is just doing its thing. And if you come in there and try to lower it with some drug, now all of a sudden, now you actually cut off the production of cholesterol systemically through the whole body. And that's going to create a problem for a lot of things. Do you realize that there's more side effects from low cholesterol than there is from high cholesterol? And even overall death rates. People die from low cholesterol, just even if they were to die from high cholesterol. And that has to do with you get other problems with the immune system. You're more susceptible to cancer if it's low cholesterol. I did a whole video on low cholesterol. So the key is when you do ketosis, you want to add intermittent fasting to really bring down that insulin. Okay, that'll put the icing on the cake. No, I shouldn't talk about cake. And then you want to add a lot of vegetables to make it even better. And then we want to also add apple cider vinegar. Okay, so that's going to really help dissolve that. So we're going to go back and take a call. I think it's working now. And let me just come back over here. All right. All right, so we're going to take a call. Let's see. Hello, you're on the air.
Hey, Dr. Berg, it's Manish. I follow all your videos. Manish from California.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you.
Probably watched all. So we're going to take a call.
So you had a question.
Hello, you're on the air.
So you just...
Hi, it's Manish from California.
Yeah, go ahead. You're on the air. Oh, you have to turn on your radio, or you're off, like whatever. I'm getting some feedback.
Okay, hold on a second. Let's see. Is it better now?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. So yes, I've been following all your videos and I've been following all your advice, and I've tried paleo for about 5 years, and I've probably tried a serious ketosis for about a year. The results are pretty good. Lost a lot of weight. I guess I have a three-part question. I'll start with the short one first. The short one is the wheatgrass juice powder, which I have from you. Could you, for everybody's benefit, tell how much potassium there is in it, just for our calculation to, make sure we get the entire potassium intake in the day?
Mm-hmm.
So that's number one.
Okay, let me answer that
number
first.
Number two,
okay?
maybe perhaps.
Let me answer that first. Okay. So it has like 300 milligrams of potassium per scooper or teaspoon. So I mean, it doesn't compare to my electrolyte powder, which is 1,000, but it has a lot of other factors that go beyond even nutrition. And it has to do with growth factors that actually help internal healing of skin. All the internal lining of skin is affected by that wheatgrass. Like if you have like an ulcer, if you have some type of a lack of healing, so it does a lot of very amazing things that I can't actually make a claim, but I see it happening all day long. I would love to tell everyone, but I'll just say this, that it has a growth factor that goes beyond nutrition that actually helps the internal lining of the sinuses, esophagus, your colon, from start to finish. Go ahead, second question you had.
Okay, great. So the second question is perhaps maybe a little bit more detailed. So perhaps if you could do a video on it sometime later, is something that we don't normally talk about on your channel is how do you act, and if it's even possible, is how do you, as a male, how do you actually gain muscle on the ketogenic diet? Because it's great for losing weight. I actually find it very easy to lose weight, and in fact, I almost get worried at the rate I lose weight, and it's almost good that I feel it's mostly fat, but at the same time, I do want to. I do have a goal to put on a little bit more muscle. So maybe.
So here's what I want to do. I want to answer that one question because we have a lot of other questions too. Because I have to get to everyone. But here's the thing: if you want to put on more muscle mass. Yes, ketogenic diets, intermittent fasting together will help improve growth hormone considerably, but you're going to have to do some type of heavier weights to put on muscle mass, because you just can't. See, the weight training is the activation of the muscle hypertrophy. That's what you're missing. So that's what you need to do. I would get a personal trainer that knows what they're doing and do higher weights, lower reps, to activate this. You're not going to build muscle mass by jogging, even though I do that and it's healthy, but you're going to have to do heavier weights and get someone to help you do that. And that'll activate the growth hormone even more, but really to enlarge the muscle mass. Hey, Angela, you're from Toronto. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hi, thanks for taking my call. I'm 47, and in my mid-20s, I have high cholesterol. It's hereditary. So I've been on basically statins ever since that time. I recently came off of it because my body just wasn't, I wasn't liking it. So my doctor has put me on Repatha, which I guess it's a non-statin drug. So I'm currently on that now, and I've been following you for the last couple months. So I've started a high-fat diet, low-carb. I just want to make sure that, well, first, I guess my first question would be, should I still take that Repatha medication while I'm trying this high-fat diet? And I'm just really scared because my dad had bypass surgery, my aunt, my uncle. It's hereditary, so it scares me to eat all this fat.
Yeah.
And I just listened to your explanation, which was really great. So given that I have hereditary high cholesterol, is this something that I should continue to try?
Good question, Angela. Let me answer that. Yeah, if there's a hereditary problem, if there's a genetic problem with your family also having factors, there's a higher risk. So here's what I would do. I can't tell you not to take that medication, but I would consider investigating, with the help of your doctor, red yeast, which actually is more of a natural thing. And then, like for the meals, maybe you don't go out of your way to add butter to your meals. Maybe you just stick with the foods that already have the fats in them and just don't add additional fats. I think the best thing that's going to help you is to really keep in the apple cider vinegar on a consistent basis, keep in the cruciferous at high amounts, and lower some of the cholesterol that you're eating. And then the last thing is the intermittent fasting. That basically is the best thing that you can do for cholesterol problems, because ketogenic diet doesn't talk about intermittent fasting. You can be eating snacks and you're eating more fat, but intermittent fasting handles insulin from a different angle because you're not stimulating insulin every time you're eating. So I would do that, and then I would also get a more in-depth test to look at your pattern A, pattern B cholesterol, and make sure that you have your pattern A is a little bit higher than your pattern B, so you're actually protected. So, but yeah, that's what I would do. Again, I'm not telling you can't take the medication. I would just investigate the red yeast extract. But good question, thank you. Hey, Melissa, you're on the air. Go ahead. You had a question about the gallbladder and estrogen.
Hi, Dr. Berg. I do. I have Hashimoto's, and I had my gallbladder removed. So thank you for your video letting me know why I could have Hashimoto's, being the low bile or the high estrogen. So I kind of have a double whammy here. Yeah. My question to you is it okay to take the estrogen dim having the Hashimoto's? I have thinning hair and all the symptoms that go along with it, but I wasn't sure if that was something I could take having both the gallbladder and the Hashimoto's. Good question. Absolutely, because the estrogen balance and dim doesn't increase your estrogen. All it does is it gets your own estrogen to convert from the bad to the good. So it just gives you better ratios of the good, safe estrogen. Okay, so it doesn't increase your estrogen. I think I said that right initially. The other thing that I would try to get more of is maybe I would get a selenium product, like it's a trace mineral. I would do that for sure to help you. And then the last thing, possibly maybe a gallbladder formula too, to get that conversion going a little bit better. But thanks for that question. Hey, Denise, you're on the air. You're from Cleveland.
Hi there. Thanks for taking my call. I'll try to make it real quick. During intermittent fasting, does the kale shake count as a meal? And number 2 question, your opinion on the tables called inversion tables to stretch your back out.
Yeah, I have one. I think those inversion tables are awesome. Awesome. Okay, so the other question is, does the kale shake count as a meal? Yes, it does, but this is what I do. I eat within a 4 or 5 hour window. Okay, so I'll have 2 meals. Let's say I'll do at 12 o'clock and 4 or 5. What I'll do, because it's hard to consume the quantity of food that I need, especially vegetables. So what I'll do is I'll have my big salad or my kale shake in the middle of that. So it's kind of like a meal, but it's still within the window of 4 hours, okay? So that's one tip that you might want to do, but yeah, it does count as a meal. It's not as bad as other things, but it does count. Ira, you're on the air. You're from Florida. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm a Crohn's disease patient, and I've been doing a lot of changes in my diet, but I have a diarrhea problem, and I'm trying to find particular leafy greens that won't give me that diarrhea thing. Do you have any suggestions on it? I've had 2 surgeries. The last one was 19 years ago.
Okay, so yeah, that's a situation because what you're lacking is the microflora to digest some of these insoluble fibers from the vegetables. So what you're going to have to do is search online for something called effective microbes, okay, and get some of the effective microbes and start taking them before you go to sleep. I would take maybe a half a capful in about 2 ounces of water, slug it down before you go to bed, boom, go to bed. And then all night long it'll start growing. It's really good. And in the meantime, the vegetable that I think might be something that workable is just the regular, it's green lettuce. But the problem is when you take green lettuce, it's hard to find because they put all these other leaves in there. So you're going to have to find something with only green lettuce or romaine. That usually is okay. But I understand, and also just as a side note, my best remedy for diarrhea, like uncontrolled diarrhea, is first of all, don't ever take gallbladder formula because that'll increase more elimination. But take blackberries in some unsweetened kefir, blend it in a shake, drink it down. It seems to be really good for diarrhea. All right, good. So Dina, you're on the air. You're from Arizona.
Yes, yay, Dr. Berg. I'm so glad I'm talking to you. I just wanted to let you know, my sister, my mom, and I, we love you guys, including your wife. We had the pizza you guys did. Amazing.
Isn't that great?
I've already made it like 4 or 5 times. It's the best.
That's awesome.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
My question for you was about the bulletproof coffee. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm mixed. I think some people do fine, but here's the thing. I have had several people do it, and it bumped them out of ketosis because it's almost like a meal. It was like a lot of fat they were consuming. I would play around with it. Some people, their metabolism is good where they can just start losing weight and consume that in the morning and be totally fine. So if that becomes a problem, if you find like, wow, I'm just still not losing weight and I need to speed it up, just nix the butter and maybe add a little coconut, okay? If that's still a problem, then what you do is take the heavy cream and put a little bit of that in there, and then you'll be fine. But it's great for satiety and to get you to go for one meal, but I'm mixed. You try it out, and it may or may not work for you, but thanks for watching my videos. Hey, Margaret, you're on the air from Texas. Go ahead.
Hi there, Dr. Berg. I have a question for you. I have PCOS. I am obese. I have a fatty liver, borderline diabetic, struggling with infertility, an absence of a menstrual cycle, 265 pounds, 5'1", and I'm currently on a program called Ideal Protein. It's a low-carb, low-fat, moderate protein diet. I'm not on any medications, but I guess my question for you, and I'm 37 years old, my question for you is, I guess I should start with PCOS and I want to reverse all this because at some point I would like to have kids in my life, but I'm just needing a little bit of direction. I've looked at your different supplements and I've noticed the estrogen dim, but I saw that it said something about if you were going into menopause. Granted, I haven't had a menstrual cycle for about 8 months or so I just kind of wanted to get some direction where you feel like I should start first, and something tells me you're going to tell me to get on this keto diet, in which I can if that's what's best, but I just wanted to kind of get where should I start first in this big journey here?
Good question. Thanks, Margaret. There's things that are really, 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 really important, and there's things that are very, very trivial. As far as estrogen balance and dim, I think that could help you, even if you're not going through menopause, just because it helps balance the amount of estrogen, because if you have extra fat, you're making a lot of estrogen through the body, and that will help clean that out. I don't think that's the full answer, though. I think it'll help you. PCOS, if you research it, it says there's an associated insulin resistance connected. I disagree. I say insulin resistance is at the bottom cause point of that condition. It causes it because the clients that I used to work on, all you do is you fix the insulin, boom, PCOS goes away because insulin converts to androgens, okay? That's the missing piece. So now the Ideal Protein, the challenge that I have with that, and I've researched that as well, it's a very lean protein program. And it's very difficult to do that and add what you really need, which is intermittent fasting, as the primary thing. I mean, let's just take ketosis and put that over here. Intermittent fasting is what you need to start with. Now, to do intermittent fasting, and the reason for that is because intermittent fasting is the most powerful tool to correct insulin, which then will solve a lot of your problems, like the weight and fatty liver and everything else. But to do that, you're going to have to do less meals. And to go from one meal to the next without slowing your metabolism down is you're going to have to keep your fat a little higher. So you can't really do intermittent fasting without some fat. So I would do a combination. I have all my videos on this. I would do a version of ketogenic diet. Maybe it's not like high fat, but you just do a moderate amount of healthy fat and you do intermittent fasting together. The other issue I have with Ideal Protein is they do soy protein, which is really damaging to the liver. And there are a lot of packaged foods which are not healthy. So you may lose weight, but you don't look healthy. So I know they're convenient, but I would do the intermittent fasting with a version of the ketosis, make sure your vegetables are high. And I think for you, what might be a really good thing, even more than the estrogen balance, would be the insulin and glucose support, because that supports insulin. I think your problem is insulin. So if you did that, ride the wave. Within probably 6 months to a year, we probably wouldn't recognize you. I would do that. Follow the exact thing that I talk about with intermittent fasting. I just released a video on that, and do 2 meals and spread out within a 4-hour window, work up to that. And I think it'll solve a lot of your problems, Margaret. Okay? Good question, thanks. Hey, Michael, you're on the air. You're from Florida.
Yes, hi, thanks for taking my call. My wife and I have started watching your videos. We've been doing the intermittent fasting for weight loss, but I'm noticing a couple of things that I'm not able to condense the 3 meals into 2 because I get so stuffed. So I know this sounds like a silly question, but should I stuff myself because I'm not getting the calories, so I'm losing a little bit of strength? I do weight training.
Yeah, very good question. This is what I would do, Mike. I would actually, no, you don't want to stuff yourself. It's a delicate balance. And as you do this a little bit longer, your system is going to be more efficient, so you can actually go from one meal to the next without a problem, with no loss in strength. The reason why you're getting a little weaker is because your system is not fully keto adapted yet. So you want to go from one meal to the next, initially adding a little more fat. But when you get more efficient, you won't have to add as much fat, and you can just switch, like go right into fat burning. Blood sugars are good. It's just going to take a little time to do that. I think you're on the right track. What I would do is I would do right now, maybe like at 12 o'clock, have your lunch or your breakfast, and then eat at 4:30 or 5 if you can do it, and have your salad in the middle. I think that's what you should do. That will help you a lot. Mindy, you're from Houston. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Thank you. I am 50 years old. I need to lose about 50 pounds. About almost 4 weeks ago, I started the intermittent fasting and then added the keto into it. I lost quite, I did pretty well. I lost about 10 pounds pretty quickly. And then at least a week, I have been stuck. And I'm pretty far into ketosis based on the keto sticks. And so I'm just trying to find some kind of insight on what might be going on.
Okay, so I have a question. Are you sleeping?
Pretty well, but not, I wake up a little bit in the middle of the night.
Okay, are you craving any sweets?
No, which I
Good.
normally do. I have terrible sugar cravings
Great.
when I'm not.
So that means it's working. How many meals a day do you have?
Usually 2.
Okay, do you have a thyroid issue?
No.
Do you have any digestive issues?
Not per se, no.
Okay, are you exercising?
No.
Okay. I think for you, what some people do this, I'm talking even bodybuilders, what they do is they go to 1 meal a day. Now, even the guys I interviewed, which are hardcore, they're doing 1 meal a day. Now, I personally can't do that. But if I had a slower metabolism, I would think I would do that. I would work to that. But the other thing is that you want to probably add the workouts now, just to speed things up. And I don't have time to analyze your macros and look at that, but I'm releasing a bunch of videos in the next week that will give you a lot more insights into looking at that a little bit more. But I would add the high intensity interval training to your program to kick start it. It's time to kick that in there and just really speed everything up. Because see, the diet handles 85%, but we still have 15% that needs to be addressed with exercise. So why don't you try that and see if it doesn't help, and then watch these new videos, okay? All right, so Elizabeth, you are on the air from North Dakota.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for taking my call. I'm somebody who's only recently discovered you on the web, and I am really appreciative, like so many others, of the information you give out there. And I especially love the videos with you and your wife.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, it makes it fun to watch. Okay, so now the question. I have two. My first one has to do with urinary tract infection. Unfortunately, I seem to be a period in my life I am getting them kind of chronically, and I've already been on a third antibiotic. And so it's been recently that I found the information that you have out there about the other products that I could be taking, and I've started to. In my case, though, they're saying it might be a fistula. Is there anything out there that you know of that can help the process of healing of a fistula?
Yeah. I mean, hands down, the absolute best thing to handle that would be wheatgrass juice powder. Big time.
Wheatgrass?
Juice powder, yeah, wheatgrass juice powder. There's one that I have that a lot of people are using now. You mix it with water. It's not a wheatgrass powder, it's a wheatgrass juice powder. It's raw. It's basically there's no heating. It's like they dehydrate it in 106 degrees. It's grown on ancient seed bed, has all the trace minerals. So you start taking, I would probably take 1 or 2 scoops per, this stuff here, I have it in lemon as well. I would take 1 or 2 scoops in water and spread it out through the day. So it's going through your blood system, it's going through your digestive system, and then it'll filter out through the kidneys, out to the bladder, and it'll actually, because what it does is it heals the inner skin of the ureters, the bladder, anything internally. So I think that's your best bet. Yeah.
Wheatgrass juice powder.
That's it right here, wheatgrass juice powder.
Okay, great.
Yep.
All right, now my second question is going back to the basics. Like I said, I only recently discovered you. And my husband is someone who's always struggled with his weight. For somebody who's just coming across all your information, I mean, with the videos and things, it can get overwhelming. Where would somebody who's just now discovering your method of losing weight, where would it be a good place to start?
Well, I have 2,000 videos, so you need to start with, now, here's what I would do. I think the simplest basic thing is go to my website, and in the shopping cart there's a basic book called How to Burn Fat. It's a 30-minute read. You can it tells you exactly what you need to do, basic, step 1, 2, 3, 4. And once you digest that, then go to the videos. Okay?
Okay.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Hey, thanks, guys. I really appreciate your attention. I think this worked out well. We had a lot of calls, a couple little glitches, but next time it will be solved, I promise. Have a great week. I'm not going to do a video next week, but the following week I will. I'll send you a video. Thanks again.